As the corporate sector evolves, Burka Africa remains committed to cultivating world-class thought leaders and providing innovative, human-centered solutions that shape a prosperous future for African governments and businesses. About Burka Africa. Burka Africa is a platform that houses expert consultants from across the African sub-region that provide strategic sustainable leadership, organizational development, corporate governance, coaching, and ESG advisory services to businesses and African governments. Burka's strategic thrust is to strengthen strategic alignment for Africa's development by bridging the gap between governments, businesses, and industry experts for leadership and business solutions, serving as a center for excellence and transformative leadership insights in Africa. The consortium is dedicated to shaping ethical, visionary, productive, and sustainable businesses and leadership across Africa. Through advisory, training, and coaching, Burka supports executives, managers, and organizations in achieving excellence, growth, and sustainable impact. Visit our website www.burkafrica.com for more information.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I hope you're all doing well. And we are here today with another episode of the Youth Leaders series. And today we are talking about financial literacy for young entrepreneurs. And it's going to be a very wonderful session because most times young people and entrepreneurs who are innovators want to start something, but then after getting the business plan, your pitch, and everything, how do you manage your finances, the money that you use to run the idea or the business? So I have with me here today Solomon Boache and Kwame Edue Champon, who are very renowned people in the space of business and entrepreneurship. And so we are going to delve into this conversation to see how we as young people can make the most out of our financial literacy in terms of entrepreneurship. So Solomon is a business economics graduate, a finance reporter, and a strategy professional with a passion for alleviating poverty by empowering people, building businesses, and driving sustainable economic development. He serves as a business and finance reporter at the High Street Journal and as the president of the PK Amwabin Leadership Foundation Alumni Network, a graduate of the University of Professional Studies, Accra. Solomon was recognized as the best graduating student in business, economics, and the most outstanding graduate by the PK Amwabin Leadership Foundation. He is the co-founder of CDWise, a student-led initiative at UPSC focused on financial literacy and leadership development, and the founder of Credify, an innovation recognized among the top five winning solutions at the 2026 Africa Development Impact Forum, ADIF Policy and Strategy Hackathon, organized by the United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, UNECA. That's really impressive, Solomon. His work focuses on finance, entrepreneurship, leadership, and public policy. He is passionate about transforming ideas into viable businesses and impactful realities, empowering young people and entrepreneurs to create solutions that drive sustainable growth and development. He also teaches kingdom principles for purposeful living, helping people align faith, leadership, and purpose to live lives of lasting impact. That's about Solomon Boache. I'll go on to Kwame, read his profile, and then we can introduce our speakers or panelists. Kwame Edu Echampong is the manager for youth banking at GCB PLC and a passionate advocate for youth empowerment, financial inclusion, and entrepreneurship development. With over a decade of banking experience, he is committed to helping young people build strong financial foundations, access opportunities, and achieve sustainable growth. Kwame has led several initiatives that connect students, young professionals, and entrepreneurs to financial literacy, digital banking, and business support services. He is an accomplished speaker, mentor, and strategist whose work focuses on equipping the next generation with the knowledge and tools needed to thrive in today's economy. Ladies and gentlemen, please, with a round of applause, let's welcome our panelists and speakers for today's engagements. Hi, Solomon. Good morning. How are you? Hi, Solomon. I can't hear you, unfortunately.
Hi, good morning. I'm doing
Hi.
great. How about
Yeah, I
you?
can hear you now. I'm doing well as well. Thank you, Solomon. Um, yeah, let me also check in with Kwame. Kwame, good morning. How are you doing?
Yeah, good morning. I'm doing well yourself.
Yeah, I'm doing well as well, Kwame.
We thank God.
So, how are you feeling for this morning's engagement before you delve into it?
Oh, it's been great. I mean, it looks like some of us have had back to back same conversation for the past 2 weeks. So I mean, it's just like a
Right,
transition.
right.
So I mean,
That's
it's been
very
great.
interesting.
It's
How
been
about
great.
you, Solomon?
It's been wonderful for the past week, and I'm just so happy that I'm coming to have this conversation with us, as well as a learning opportunity. So it's nice having everyone on board.
Right. That's very great. So, this session is aimed at equipping young entrepreneurs with knowledge and confidence and financial mindsets that they need to build resilient businesses, to make sound financial decisions, and contribute to economic growth and the job creation situation across Africa. So I want us to start the conversation. Okay. So when we talk about financial literacy, what does it mean to you, and why is it important for young entrepreneurs? Let Kwame have this. Solomon, you
Okay.
come after.
Yeah, I mean, so thank you once again, and to all those on call. Mostly when we talk about financial literacy, I have decided to give it a very simple meaning, right? And sometimes people think your ability to know how to count money and all that is financial literacy. I mean, staying in the banking space, the financial space, and the academia space, and all that. But for me, my definition of financial literacy is knowing how to make your money work for you. That is my definition of financial literacy. It is the ability that whatever you have, the little that you have, you'll be able to multiply it. And you need that knowledge to to expand whatever that you have. Let's take, for instance, if your business double in sales today, will you know how to manage the extra money that comes on it? And how are you going to plow back and expand the extra that comes on it? So for me, basically, financial literacy is your ability to know how much or how to make your money work for you. And in simple terms, that is it.
Right, right. That's very interesting. Solomon, would you give it a shot as well?
Yeah. So as he did mention earlier, uh, it's basically finance and literacy. And when we talk about literacy, it's more of knowledge. Okay. Money in the other one is or finance is money basically, and you can look at it from this angle. We cannot do anything without money as it stands now. You can look at it from maybe I'm in Accra, I want to travel to Kumasi. There is a means of transportation. There's a means to which you need to get there. You need to pick a car. Some will go by air and many other things. And so money has now become the means through which we do a lot of transactions, the store through which we transact values and all that. And so basically, for you to have knowledge of this is very needed because if you don't know how it works, it's it can be that one you don't even know the means of transport to use, you don't know the worth of it, you don't know where to put it, where to get it, and how to even manage it as a whole. So basically, it's all about the knowledge of how money works. Yeah, thank you.
Right, right, right. That's very great, Solomon. So now, when we look at business, in today's world, why do some profitable business still fail when it comes to finance? And how does financial discipline influence the business ability to stay long term? Yeah,
Maybe Solomon is
Solomon.
taking that
Okay,
back,
okay,
Abi.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you. So the question is, why do some profitable businesses still fail
Still
financially?
fail.
Yeah, I'll look at it from two angles. The first is, I think the question has two sides. It's either maybe you are making money and then later you fail, or it's like the business is actually not making money. Or maybe the other one is that you are making money on paper, but you are not seeing the money in real terms. Okay, so this aspect, okay, maybe you're not making money. So if you're not making money, basically, if the business is actually not having finance, it could be from the business side of it. The business side of it is that maybe your sales is poor. Maybe you don't really know how much of difference. Maybe you are not actually selling to the right people. Maybe you are not entering the right market to be able to sell to the right people. And so basically, you don't have cash. So financially, you don't have cash. The other one could be that maybe your pricing is also not the best. Your product is also not the best and all that. So that's the aspect of maybe the business aspect. The business aspect basically is how do I get cash into the business and get the business running. The other one is that you can be profitable, but financially you don't have cash. So I'm sure this one, Mr. Would can speak much to it because of financial statements. If you look at most of them, most businesses make money on paper. You can see the profit over there, but then uh, there's no cash in the business. An example could be that maybe most of your products you gave it out on credit, or maybe you have a lot of debt, and so anytime you get cash, the cash moves leaves your business. So basically, there's no money. So the two sides is that one, maybe there's no cash at all. So the business looks profitable, but financially you don't have money. So that side is a business aspect of it, which is maybe your sales is not the best. Maybe you're not targeting the right market. Maybe your product niche is actually not defined and all that. The other side, as I did mention, is that maybe on paper you are seeing profits, but in real terms you don't have the cash, and that could be maybe because you borrowed out most of your products to people, and so when you actually need cash, you don't have the cash. Maybe also there's a lot of debts in your business, and so when cash comes in a bit, you need to make sure you settle all those debts. So financially, there's no cash in the business, but maybe it looks very profitable. So that's my take.
Okay, so let
Okay,
me
yeah,
just pick
Kwame,
up
yeah,
from
sure.
Yahweh Solomon and a very insightful point there. Let me just say this that just this Tuesday, someone asked me a question at a session and was asking me the difference between profit and cash. And I was telling the person that, you know what, at every point in time, your cash flows keep the doors open for your business, right? But your profit just tell whether the business is worthwhile or the business is having a going concern or the business is profitable, right? For most of this, from what Solomon had just inputted there, most of the times we try to confuse the profit and the cash aspect of it. On paper, I mean, from where I sit, you get people coming in, you get young people coming in with proposals, business ideas, some who had even started their business already. And on paper, you see a very good financial report, you see a very good financial figures being presented over there. But then when it comes to the cash aspect, that's where the discipline aspect comes in. Like Solomon said, most of these things would have been given on credit. Most of these things would have been given on credit that most of these people ought to be more disciplined when it comes to payment and all that. So for me, I would just say that at every point in time, people should know how to draw the line between what we are terming as profit and what we are terming as a cash flow as far as the business is concerned. And the most important thing is discipline. I mean, financial discipline, the discipline to separate all other activities from the business and making sure that business items move in the expense line and personal items move in that space. And for me, it's a big deal here. Yeah, thank you.
Right, right. Very great insight on why some businesses seem to be doing well on paper, but in reality they are struggling or otherwise. So thank you so much for the insights. Now
Yeah.
let's move on to money management, right? So why should entrepreneurs separate their personal finances from their business finances? Maybe I'll give this one to Kwame, and then Solomon, I'll give you another one.
Okay, so thank you. Let me use my personal experience, right? I spend most of my time in the banking space or that. But then I have my personal businesses I run. I have a farm somewhere, having about a lot of cattle that I'm taking care of. And this really taught me a lot of personal thing. And it comes to that space of entrepreneurs trying to separate their personal finances from their business finances. You see, when personal and business finances are mixed, it becomes very difficult. Now, these are the three reasons why I always tell people to separate it. One, when you walk to a financial institution, for instance, and you need financial help, the first thing they will want to look at, you want to look at your inflows, outflows, or your flows in there, and then ascertain that, okay, this is in line and in the course of business. This is your personal thing. If you want to come to tax, they'll make sure that all other related personal activities are being separated in there. It is very dangerous for people who run business and who'll be like, I don't pay myself. For me, I'm plowing everything back into the business. But then I'm sacrificing everything. That's the most dangerous part. When they will say, I don't pay myself, but then every little thing they spend is from the business. And people end up eating even everything that they started with. So I tell people that try and separate your personal expenses from the business. You see, imagine trying to determine whether your business is profitable when your personal shopping, your transport, everything goes into that of the business and you can't separate. I have a friend who run a business and buy fuel all the time, and she'll buy fuel 700 Ghana cedis, and then she will push the whole 700 to the business. Meanwhile, she's using the same car to run other errands and everything as well. So at every point in time, you realize that one end up struggling. People need to cultivate that habit and make sure that even when investors ask you today how much your business earned last month, just with a glimpse, you should be able to say because you are separating your personal expenses from that of the business. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Kwame. Now let's come to Solomon. I know you wanted to add to this, so let me just push it a step further. What are the consequences for poor budget management for small businesses? So just to build on this?
Okay, thank you so much. So, first of all, we need to understand what budgeting is. Uh,
Okay.
for me, it's all about having a plan. Okay, so um, there's always money, but the question is, where is the money coming from? How do you intend to use the money? How do you determine the direction of the money? Where the money should go? How it should be used for, and all that. So first of all, budgeting means that you need to have a plan. Okay. When it comes to money and finance, there are so many decisions that come to play. And even when it comes to finance, it's basically money and decisions, money and choices. And so at every point in time, there are certain choices to be made. It could be maybe expanding your business. It could be maybe your market, where the money should go, your working capital management, as mentioned earlier, and all that. And so if first you don't have a plan, it means that you'll not be working by plan. So that's the first thing. So the first thing is okay. Now, what happens when you have poor managing, poor budgeting management, poor budgeting? Basically, it means that one is either you don't have a plan or you didn't plan well. That's number one. It's either you don't have a plan or you didn't plan well. That's the budgeting. Because the budgeting at least helps you to understand where you are and where you intend to go and how you intend to put in place, how you have to put things in place in order to get to where you want to go. So the first one of the challenges that one you have cash shortage. As we did mention, one of the reasons why most of the businesses profitably do not are not financially strong, though profitably they show some good indicators. You don't have cash. One, because yet maybe, as I did mention earlier, there's a lot of debt that you borrowed. Okay, and so when the cash is coming in, you need to be able to determine in there or by plan, you should know that, okay, this is how I need to manage the cash that is coming in. But if you're not able to manage it well, it means then that one, you have no cash in the business. Okay. The other one is okay, maybe you're running a business and then you put in a lot of stock. So you have a lot of inventories in there. Now, because you have not planned how this inventory should be, how much of the stock you should keep, how much of this you should sell, and all that. It means that when the time reaches where you need real cash to either make payments or do certain things, you will not have any of them. So one of the consequences that you have a lot of cash issues. Okay. The other one is that, as we did mention, poor spending decisions. If in the first place you have issues with cash, and this is all about how you are stable to be able to make certain decisions, then automatically you make poor spending decisions. There's no plan. You're not working by plan. He did mention about mixing your personal finances with business money and all that. Yes, it's true. Why? Because if you don't have the plan, the budget, and the budget tells you that, okay, this is my business account. This is how money comes in. This is where the money is supposed to go. Anytime money comes in, you are tempted to use it for other things. You are tempted to either shift it somewhere or maybe do take an investment that did not or fall in plan with what you had in the beginning. So the other one is that you make poor spending decisions. It's also difficult to control your cost, especially when things like this come, because there's no plan basically. So these are some of the consequences you would face. You have issues with cash, and for me, cash is very important because cash is what keeps the business running. If there's no cash, the business is actually not running. Yeah. So thank you.
Right. Thank you so much, Solomon. I think the next question I would have wanted to ask her have been answered. So that would be, what is cash flow, and then why is it is it usually termed as the blood life of the
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 lifeblood.
lifeblood of the business? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you've captured that, right?
Yes. Yes. So basically,
Yes,
when we
yes.
talk about that, let me just add on to it is that that is what
All
keeps the
right.
business running. Okay. That is what you use to pay for expenses. That is what you use to keep operations. That is what you use to pay debt. That is what you use to grow your business and many other things. So if there's no cash, it means that basically the business is not running. That is why usually we call it the lifeblood of the business. Yeah, it's like the blood that flows through your body. Without that blood flowing through your body, basically you are dead. Yeah.
All right, right. Well put, Solomon. So now let's come to you, Kwame. how do young professionals or young entrepreneurs determine whether their business is truly making money? Because I mean, we've already established that sometimes it looks like you're making money on paper. So, how do young entrepreneurs determine whether their business is truly making a profit?
Okay, I mean, thank you. It looks like the questions are just intertwining and making it more interactive. Now, the best
Yeah.
thing that I keep telling people all the time is that the first thing which Solomon had expatiated greatly is your ability to have your budget, because at every point in time you are going to match your actuals against your budgeted figures to see whether whatever you plan within the period is really working or not. And I keep telling young people that at every point in time in your business, the first question you should ask yourself: does every dollar you spend on your business, every city you spend on your business, every pound you are spending of your business, can you account for it? How will I know as a young person to ascertain whether my business is making profit or not? The base and most important thing is your ability to keep records of every single activity or transactions or whatever you are doing when it comes to your business. You get people working in, young people coming with good ideas who had already started business, who cannot even account for a single penny that you're giving to them. For instance, we had a program where we had to give about 40,000 to almost 50,000 to young people to start a project, right? And for 3 4 months, just give an account of whatever they've done. They don't even have records of what has been done. And the most important thing is that your ability to keep your records when it comes to your income lines, your ability to keep your records when it comes to your expense line. At a glance, you can tell whether you are making profit or not. But in there, from the conversations we've had all this while, in there, we still be able to ask yourself that aside my profit, am I really so liquid when it comes to cash in terms of management and all other things? Your profit is good. I'm always don't like placing much emphasis on the profit aspect, right? I love placing much emphasis on seeing your balance sheet, seeing your statement of financial position, because that will give me a good standing to tell whether this business is really sustainable or not sustainable. So for young people, you should be more disciplined when it comes to your spending. You should be more disciplined and focus on your business. You should be more disciplined in keeping your records, because I can say on good authority that your ability to keep a good record propel you to the next advantage that you have when it comes to seeking for funds and seeking for support from other places. And that is it when it comes to how you be able to ascertain whether you are making good profit or not. Thank you.
Okay, that's very great. Solomon, maybe you can take it. And just to add on to this, what role does financial record keeping play in attracting investors or accessing business loans?
Okay, so I think he highlighted on it more because where he sits, a lot of businesses go to them for finances and all that. For the past about 1 month, I tried to engage some few people on some statistics, and the statistics was about 70% of SMEs or businesses in Ghana that start up fail within the first 3 years or 5 years. So they don't survive after 5 years. And when I spoke with some few experts who have been in that industry space, they spoke about structure issues and defining them. These are some of the issues they mentioned: financial record, that there's no system for proper financial record keeping. Uh, Decisions are made based on emotions, not based on data. And so things are not in structure. For them, especially one of them that I spoke with, which who is an investor, he did mention they just want to know how healthy your business is. And it is the numbers that will tell them how healthy your business is. And so if you come to them, they want to know, okay, where did the cash came from? What did you do with the cash? Where is the money going? Where have you invested? What are the possible uncertainties in these areas? And it is the numbers or the record keeping that would help them to be able to identify the patterns in this for them to be able to make a decision. And so if you are not giving keeping the records, if you don't have proper recording system of some of these things, it means that they will not have any base to make or any evidence or proof for them to make certain decisions, and you lose your investment basically. Yeah. Hello.
Right, that's very, very great. Kwame, since you
Yeah.
are more like the expert in this, would you have a few more words to add on in terms of how or the role that financial record keeping plays in attracting investors?
Okay, so let me make it more in more practical in our space. There is no way you walk to a financial institution
Mhm.
that you want support for your business that they will not request for your financial records. But even if they are to request for half documentation, that will form part of the half documentation. The reason be that every financial institution will want to ascertain whether your business have a going concern. They want to ascertain whether your business is viable within the period that I want to give funds to you. There is no way you go for an investment pitching that no one will be interested in your financial records. And I'll say that this is one of the major issue affecting young people who are into entrepreneurship. They come in with great ideas, they come in with great businesses that they've started. But the thing is, if you can't account for the little that you have today, there is no way institutions will trust much in your hands when they come to your ability to manage and control your business. So let's take this as a good a learning atmosphere for us. That even if it's toffee you're selling, your ability to tell yourself that I invested 20 Ghana cedis and I've made a return of 10 cedis and I've plowed back the 10 cedis as a record for us is a basic thing. You get people who go to accountants to prepare financial records for them, and you come and you see everything neatly done. But then when you get to the reality on the ground, you realize that there is a vast difference between what is on paper and what is happening. So let's take financial records very, very serious when it comes to our ability for our growth and even for ourselves to tell how much the business is varying from where we started from. Thank you.
Okay, okay, okay. That's very great, and thank you. So if Yeah, so if you're a young person in Ghana, particularly in Accra, and you're ready to discover your purpose, to develop your skills and deploy your impact, then the Young Investors and Future Builders Conference that is happening this year is the right opportunity for you. It's a 1 day conference themed Unlocking Youth Potential for Impact on Saturday, 15th August from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at Rema Outreach Church, Lebanon Ashama Municipal in Accra. So you come and learn from power pack speakers, including Reverend John Intikwe, Apostle Dr. Ben MacArthur, Dr. Mavis B., Apostle Dr. Enoch Amwate, and Madam Matilda Misa. We'll be talking about discovering yourself, building your tomorrow today, and then it comes with networking, coaching, and interactive Q&A, lunch, and e-certificate for participation. So if you want to register, it's going to cost you just 50 cedis. All you have to do is to scan the QR code, which will be projected very soon. The QR code on it, and I'm sure the link will be in the comments of this video as well. So just scan the QR code on it and secure your spot. So this is an opportunity for students, graduates, youth leaders, young entrepreneurs, and anyone who is ready to lead and make change. Please call 025 636 5300 or 0203847820 or 0534741711 for more information. It's the YIFB 2026. You discover, develop, and deploy. Yeah, so like I mentioned, the link will be in the chat. So you can just click on the link. Also, we have some people joining us here. Jacob says he's joining from Accra. Um, Okpemi Paul says he's joining from Nigeria. Good to see you here. Yeah, so let's get back to the conversation. As we are getting closer to the end, when a young when should a young entrepreneur start saving or investing in their business? I think we would have to take this like, yeah. So maybe Solomon, you go, and then Kwame. Or Kwame, since you were the last to speak, when should a young entrepreneur start saving or investing in their own business? The way you're smiling, I can see you have a lot to say about this.
I mean, I always want to. I try to marry my personal life and then the little stuff I do, right? You understand that every young person in Africa now is a business person, and in one way or the other, is still one or other things and all that. But then I have learned this the hard way. That's why I'm laughing, right? I wish I knew it earlier, but then I ended up learning it at the latter part. You see, the best time to save is from the very first day you made your first sales. You see, two things will happen over here. People will prefer to save their cash, either in banks or into other securities and all that. Others will prefer to plow back whatever they are supposed to save back into the business. But the truth is,
Yeah.
the
Kwame,
best
just a
time
moment.
to
Let me not cut you
okay,
short. Let me not cut you short, but I just wanted to share the flyer that I
okay,
spoke about. So maybe you can just keep talking while it displays. So for anyone who is interested, the person can just access the information. Yeah.
okay. So thank you. So just as I said, the best
Yeah.
time to ever think of saving is now, the very first day you start your business, right? Because many people want to wait and they have that mindset that, okay, let me wait when I become so successful. What's the definition of the success that you're talking about? The definition of the success you're talking about is your ability to invest two cities and have a return on one city. That one city is a success. And that's one thing I've tried to learn for myself, to appreciate every little success that I make. And I don't mind maybe getting 50 pesos as my success. Go sit somewhere and just relax myself, just watch the sea, watch the breeze, and then be like, yeah, this is the definition of success. So the best time for every young entrepreneur to save is right from the very first day you started. And let me say this, I always use this as an example where you have a farm, because I mostly want to talk about my farm. When I started during COVID time with just two cattle, and the first time I made the first sales, I was like, okay, with this first money, let me just go enjoy. By the time I realized I've messed the whole thing up, I need to plow back again. And it was there I realized that the very first moment for me was to start saving. And the saving is in twofold, just as I said. Some will prefer to put save in a bank, or some will prefer to save by plowing back into the business. I believe in the principle of plowing back into the business. You always have to have different forms of saving. Saving for an emergency, which is put aside, which is very liquid at every point in time with a bank you can either pick up and use at every point. But the savings where you have to plow back, so it becomes more of like a working capital back into your business. And that is very, very, very necessary. If you start a business with 20 cities and 1 year down the line, you're still on 20 cities, then you failed. To me, I think you failed, because you should be thinking of how you can save in a growing manner. So, in a nutshell, if your business cannot save from the small earnings you are earning today, what makes you think you'll be able to save from the larger earnings you'll be earning tomorrow? So, the discipline is now and the savings is now. Thank you.
Right, right. That's very well put. Kwame, I didn't know you had a cattle farm. You should have said it earlier, but don't worry, we'll talk backstage. Yeah. So Solomon, do you also have something to add on what time you should start saving, since you also have a couple of initiatives running? Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you. I remember for me, I started this rabbit farm, and then I started with about five. But unfortunately, I wasn't the one taking care of, so I had someone to take care of it, and I was just sending in the money, sending in the money. If I realized, oh, everything was good, I was like, yeah. And so, as Mr. Yao mentioned earlier, you start saving from the day one, the day the business begins. You start making your income. You start saving. Uh, I think he separated them into two in terms of maybe savings and plowing back into the business. And I would focus more on that. That yes, if maybe you are just putting the money aside, the fact that oh emergency would come. Maybe for me, I don't really like putting much money in the bank because I feel like when the money is there and then they'll be charging me commissions, the interest rate on it will not be much as the commission and all that. So why not put the money back into the business and all that? But then if you're investing into the business, you need to be very cautious because it's not the fact that there's a concept that you need to keep plowing back into your business, so you're plowing back. You have to be very strategic about it. Sometimes you have a lot of uncertainties in terms of even where your business should go next. In those times, please pause and continue saving. But when you have a clear direction of where the business is going, you can see clearly where the incomes are coming from, and it's not a time of confusion. I would say that save into the business, basically plow back the money into the business, and then keep growing. Of course, there will be a time where emergency will come and all that. But as I did mention earlier, it's all about choices and money. And uncertainties will always come within the process. But if you have these systems in place, okay, I'm saving. I remember there was a time past where a friend reached out to me that he started this onion farming. And so he got some income, and the question was, where should he put the money? Should he go and put the money in the bank? I was like, oh, you can put the money in the bank, but for me, I would give you advice that the money goes into T-bills or any other. At least by then, the rate was quite okay and encouraging, rather than keep the money just in the bank. So that's also a way of saving, but yet the money is growing. It's not just in there. So from the one, start investing. But if you have a clear sense and you know very clearly where the profits are coming, let's assume, for example, you are selling like this guy selling onion, and you know that okay, if I'm able to sell five, maybe I don't know how they measure it, but then if you're able to sell, let's say five for lonka or something, you are able to make 100 cedis on it, okay, as your profit. Now, if you put within 1 month, you're able to make 100 cedis. 100 1 month is even 100 cedis for 1 month is even too less. When you put that same money into the bank, at least you get like 2% interest, 3%, 5%, and all that. Comparing this and this, you could see that clearly the more you sell to more people, the more you make more money. Okay. And so at that point, it will be very prudent for you to even keep investing more if you have a clear sense of direction and no uncertainty. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you. So I think these are very great insights, and there are very big people here. Solomon also once had the rabbit farm, so I think after this particular session, I'm also going to start mine, and
Very
I'm sure they will
necessary.
help me with it. Yeah.
Very
So,
necessary.
what what are some of the financial risks that every young entrepreneur should prepare for? We've spoken about how they should start investing in their own business, start saving and all, but what are some of the potential risks that entrepreneurs should look out for? Solomon, would you go? Kwame would come after.
All right, that's fine. So, first of all, I would also say that it's because of time and uncertainty that that creates a risk. This time and uncertainty is what brings the risk. And so, at any point in time, anything could happen. Okay, in terms of business, you sometimes have issues with cash flows, especially the cash is not coming. People are not paying on time. You have to clear your debts and all that. But then if, for example, you know already, as we did mention, your budget, you know that oh, these things could happen. There's already an emergency plan that you have for it. Of course, you can't totally eliminate every risk. You can't say that okay, I'm positioning my business in this way that I'll eliminate every risk. It's all about the decisions you make at that point in time to be able to mitigate that particular risk that is happening. And so that is why we did mention budgeting is very, very important, because you're able to track the pattern. And so if maybe you would have issues with cash flow within the first few months, you can tell. Let me give an example. I'm sure we heard of the story recently about this man, this ZPay license being revoked and all that. And the issue, per, per what I heard or I read about, was the fact that okay, they were running a model that was okay, we'll pay you instantly, and yet the money does not come into our account instantly. Okay, so we want you to have the first time instant experience, and but then the money that we are receiving from the diaspora is not coming directly into our account. So from the word go, you could see that they would have issues with what? With cash flow. And that was what landed them to borrow from different places and all that. So at least when you track your model, you can see that, oh, we always have issues with cash flow. You have issues with maybe debts. Looking at the quantum of debt you took, whether it's debt that you are using to run the business and all that. If sales are also not coming, all these issues will always pop up. But it's all about the decisions you make at that very point in time to be able to mitigate the risk. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. So, Kwame, your take on this as well. What are
Okay.
some of the risks that young entrepreneurs should look out for?
Okay. For me, I've just deduced one particular risk that mostly probably will not even have it in the book. What I call the lifestyle risk. That is the first risk I always talk about when it comes to young entrepreneurs. I call it the lifestyle risk. And to me, this is one of the biggest hidden risks among young entrepreneurs. Now, you get someone buying an expensive car just after one successful month of hitting with a lot of cash. You see people using business money for vacations. You see them at Aqua Safari enjoying. You see them at all the other places enjoying, funding a luxurious lifestyle that is not so important when it comes to their businesses. And for me, the first most important risk I always look at is a lifestyle risk. And I tell young people that never let your lifestyle grow faster than your business. The moment your lifestyle start growing faster than your business, then I'm sorry, you are at the point of gradually dwindling down there. One of the risks that I probably would just want to add, there are a lot, but one of the things that from the little experience I see becoming a bit uncontrollable, or an external risk that we have less control over, is a risk of inflation. And at this time, as at last week or so, we ran around 14%, though it's marginally okay within where we are having. But then inflation tend to control and have a lot of impact on the things in our businesses as well. And we live in a space where when fuel prices go up, things really go up. But when fuel prices comes down, you don't get the fares reducing. Don't get the woman sitting in the market in Nigeria reducing the prices. You don't get the man sitting in South Africa reducing the prices and all that. So inflation. So mostly I tell young people that the kind of businesses you run should influence how you invest. Some of them, by virtue of what you do, you can hedge against some of these inflationary things that you do. So assuming I produce maybe polythene bags or something, and I can buy some of the goods in bulk and ahead of time, I rather prefer to do that just to curtail against a risk like inflation, which we really don't have much control over. So I would just add these two risks to the what Solomon has said: the inflationary aspect and then the lifestyle risks.
Okay, that's very, very great. Now we take this and maybe we can add our final words and then wrap up the section. But let's answer this last question. So if you receive funding to start a business today, how would you prioritize spending to ensure the long-term sustainability of the funding and the business?
I think Solomon is taking that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
Okay.
if I receive funding today to start a business, the first thing I will invest in is research. Okay, research to make sure I really understand the problem I want to solve. I really understand the customer pain, and I know where they are exactly. This will help me to really understand where I want to go and who actually I want to get into. And we have something in business we call the business canvas. This will really help you to get that done. So first, I would invest into research. The other one is based on my research, I'll go into MVP, the minimum viable product. So from there, I'll develop the product or the service I want to go on, and then test the market. Uh-huh. Because if I don't test the market and know the feedback, maybe I'll end up producing something, bringing a business or a product or a service that market is actually not interested in. And so the second stage will be my MVP stage where I have to test the market. The next stage is the launch. I'll just launch the business, run the business, and all that. Then uh, maybe the next one that I would invest in is systems. I'll invest in systems that will keep the business running without me myself. And that's one of the issues we have actually in Ghana and Africa across. We don't have systems or structures that will keep the business running without the owner of the business still in the business. And so that's the next thing. I will invest in systems, financial systems, structures that will make sure that the flow of business continues. And then the next one I'll invest in is scale. Yeah, so you just give me like 50,000 and then I'll take it up from there. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, okay, that's very great. And then maybe we can take your final words as we are wrapping up the session.
Okay, great. So it's not easy, but it's easy. Finance is all about choices and money, and there will always be time. There will always be uncertainty because of time, and so just study more about money, read more about money, because money actually is it just represents value. Okay, and so when you're able to understand how it works, you'll be able to manage all the uncertainties that come with it. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Solomon. Kwame, over to you.
Okay, so just to add up with to what Solomon said relating to receiving fund to start a business today, I always want entrepreneurs to understand something that let us not treat funding as a reward, right? It is actually a responsibility anytime that you receive a funding. Let's understand that it's a responsibility that has been placed on you because people are going to check, ascertain, and see wherever they are putting their funding into is yielding the necessary returns. So I mean, Solomon has said a lot about that when it comes to where he'll plow into. I personally will still go back to my farming and enjoy my farming, and then I'll go and try scaling more, probably increase my cattle to about 100 now and think of how best I can make money. So farming actually is something so lovely and interesting to me. And I just want to have my conclusion by saying that, financial literacy is not about how much money you make, right? And basically, it is about how you do with the money that you've been able to make. We have a lot of people earning money, but then we have few that are able to manage the monies that they have. We have people who are stayed in big government institutions and still go on retirement and still will have to go and rent a place to stay. And wealth is not the ability to build the income alone. It is your ability to have that financial wisdom and discipline and keep making that consistency of saving. Whatever you started, whatever you're running as a young person in business, don't let it just end with you. The mindset is to be able to leave something for the generation. I'm a spiritual person, and Bible says that my Bible will tell me that a good man is one who has been able to lay inheritance for his children's children. So whatever you are doing, let it go beyond you and start thinking of something you can leave as a legacy for your next generation. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Kwame. Thank you so much, Solomon. These are very great insights on how young people starting out in entrepreneurship can actually progress and make the right decisions. And some of the words that stood out for me was this what Kwame ended with: leaving a legacy, letting your actions live for generations. And then also Solomon mentioned that finance is all about choices, and
Kwame also mentioned that you have to treat funding as a responsibility, not as a reward. And these words, I'm sure, is going to resonate with many other young people. So, as we wrap up this conversation, I think I'll just highlight the promotion I mentioned. So, George, can you please project it on the page? Yes, but anyways, it's still going to be in the comments, so please look out for it. And we've had a wonderful conversation, right? So it's the Young Innovators and Future Builders Conference happening this year. It's going to be very insightful, and so please do well to register, and then we will see you there. Thank you so much once again, George and Kwame, for coming here to share your insights, to encourage and empower other people. I was glad to do this with you. Yes, the flyer is back on the dashboard, and it's just 50 CDs to get access to these great and powerful speakers and all the activities involved in the event. It's happening Saturday, 15th August from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Rema Outreach Church in Accra. So please do well to scan the QR code and register. Yes. So it was great doing this with you, Kwame, and then Solomon. My name is Michael Akon, and I've been your host for today. Thank you so much, and we'll see you some other time.
Okay, thank you. We're grateful.
Bye.
Bye.
As the corporate sector evolves, Burka Africa remains committed to cultivating world-class thought leaders and providing innovative, human-centered solutions that shape a prosperous future for African governments and businesses. About Burka Africa. Burka Africa is a platform that houses expert consultants from across the African sub-region that provide strategic sustainable leadership, organizational development, corporate governance, coaching, and ESG advisory services to businesses and African governments. Burka's strategic thrust is to strengthen strategic alignment for Africa's development by bridging the gap between governments, businesses, and industry experts for leadership and business solutions, serving as a center for excellence and transformative leadership insights in Africa. The consortium is dedicated to shaping ethical, visionary, productive, and sustainable businesses and leadership across Africa. Through advisory, training, and coaching, Burka supports executives, managers, and organizations in achieving excellence, growth, and sustainable impact. Visit our website www.burkafrica.com for more information.